2022 has been the year of hiring freezes and layoffs, which I know sucks for you guys. But here are 5 hacks that you can use to increase your chances of getting an interview. Hack number 1, which I think is the most effective, is reaching out to hiring managers directly on LinkedIn. So you might ask, how do I do this? So try this. Type in product manager hiring in the LinkedIn search bar, and then bam, you get a list of product managers that have stated in their profile that they're hiring. And what you can do is filter by company based on the companies that you care about, or play around with some of the other filters. Next, once you've identified hiring managers that are hiring that you want to apply for, you can send them an email letting them know that you saw that they were hiring, why you're a good fit for the company, or a specific role that you saw them hiring for. And you can possibly glimpse what role they're actually hiring for, because a lot of them will make a post. So go search on their activity page, choose posts, and you might see a recent role post. And your ask to them might be, I'd be happy to send my resume or jump on a quick call if you think I'm a good fit for the role you're hiring for. Why does this work? Why is this so effective? So a real example, when I was hiring for designers and product managers on my team, I put we're hiring on my profile and received a good number of email messages. And of course, a lot of them were not relevant, but for a select few, I don't think I would have identified those candidates otherwise. And it allowed me to interview candidates that proactively reached out to me. I've also advised several of my clients to try this method, and they've landed jobs doing this. And you might be asking, well, why does this work? Well, the most motivated person in this equation next to you looking for a job is the hiring manager. If you've ever been a hiring manager, your butt is on the line to make this hire, because the hiring manager is most likely taking on the load of doing that work themselves. So they are desperate to hire, as desperate as you are to find a job. And hence, hiring managers highly prioritize candidates that might be a good fit. Hence, reaching out to hiring managers that are motivated directly rather than relying on recruiters is going to increase your chances that your resume is actually seen by a hiring manager. My hack number 2 is to get your PM network to forward your resume to recruiters. So how does this work? So I've actually personally done this, where I have recruiters reaching out to me on a weekly basis about roles. And I'm not necessarily looking right now. So hence, I have clients who I help forward their resumes to these recruiters directly, who I know are hiring for a specific position that my client might be interested in. And hence, what you want to do here is find friends or people in your network that are getting a lot of inbound messages from recruiters for the role that you care about, and have them connect you to the recruiter directly. Which means you most likely have to find people in your network that are in a similar role as you. So a real example of this that I did a couple months ago for one of my clients, I had gotten an email from an Apple recruiter, and I was not interested in moving to a different company at that time. And one of my clients was working at a telco company. And I helped this client forward his resume to the Apple recruiter directly. And the recruiter reached out to him and they had a conversation. And then I did the same with another client who was working at Oracle, and I referred her to a recruiter that was recruiting at LinkedIn. And that was so much more effective for her, because she ended up getting an interview almost immediately, versus prior to that she was applying for that company but never even getting someone to answer to her. So why does this work? Well, getting through to the direct person that's responsible for specific roles is going to be much more effective than applying on the job board, where it goes into this black hole. That's really what I name these job boards nowadays, a black hole, because you'll apply and you'll never get a response. And honestly, being on the other side, most times your resume won't even get viewed, because they get filtered through an application tracking system. Sometimes recruiters don't even look at it because they have candidates that are already in the pipeline. So they increase your chances of getting someone relevant to view your resume and take it seriously. You'll want to get it in front of the right people. And that's the main theme that you'll see me talking about in this video. My third hack for you is to reach out to recruiters directly on LinkedIn. And you might be wondering how. So similar to the first one, you would type in the role that you're interested in. For me, it would be product manager, and type in recruiter. So product manager, recruiter. And then if I wanted, then I would filter on the company that I might be interested in and then come up with a list of people that I could reach out to in companies that are relevant to me. And then I would send them an email message telling them, notice that you're a recruiter for this role, and I'm interested to see if there are any open roles at the company now, and this is why it could be a good fit for the company. And make sure to do your homework beforehand to check for that company. Are they hiring for any open roles today? You always want to come to the conversation prepared ahead of time, rather than asking people to do the work for you. So a real example of this, I was working with one client who was struggling to get past interviews. He had a terrible experience interviewing with Amazon, and he was just so discouraged. So I had a conversation with him. I told him this tactic because he was interested in applying to Google. And I told him, go look for recruiters that specifically recruit for product roles at Google. So he went to do his own search, and he reached out to a recruiter, ended up getting an interview, passed the interviews, and now he's doing team matching at Google. So a huge success story just starting with this. And why is this so effective? And it's again the theme of reaching out to people that are the most motivated to respond to you, because these recruiters are more directly responsible for hiring for the role that you want to apply for. And hence it just increases the chances that you'll get a response because what you're talking to them about is more relevant than if you reach out to just any recruiter. Let's say if you reach out to a sales recruiter at the company, one, they're so busy themselves that they probably will just ignore a message that's not really relevant. As I go through these hacks, I'm curious, have you used a hack that worked really well? If so, share it in the comments below and spread the love within the community. Hack number 4 is to get referrals from friends or strangers. So how does this work? So let's talk about getting referrals from strangers first. So I've seen a growth in websites and services that allow people working at certain companies to refer people that they don't really know. There's one called refer.me, but it's refer as in R-E-P-H-E-R. I'll link it in the description below. And also Exponent has a service where you can refer people as well. And how does this work, by the way? So you, as the person that's interested in applying for the company, would upload your resume and also pick out the companies that you're interested in applying for. Then another person who, they're really incentivized because they get a referral bonus. So they will look through the list of candidates of people interested in applying for a company and refer them if they think they're relevant. Or maybe some people will just refer anyone to increase the odds. So this is really a win-win scenario. And hence, when people are nervous about asking friends even to refer them, I always remind them, it's a win-win for the other person too. So don't see it as them doing you a favor, but both of you guys are winning if they refer you. Another channel to ask for referrals is go to teamblind.com, and if you type in referral into the search link, you'll see many people posting asking for referrals after they've been laid off or after they've quit a job, or even if they're really frustrated in their current job. So I like this method too because it's anonymous, and hence you don't have to share who you are or even the company, but you can share the domain that you work in, how many years of experience, and what roles you're interested in. And even from that, people might be willing to refer you. Now let's talk about if you're getting a friend to refer you, how would you go the extra step? So what you should really do beyond just asking the friend to submit your resume in the referral tool is to tell them to go the extra step and send your resume directly to the hiring manager. Again, like I talked about in the first hack, getting your resume in front of the right person is the most effective way to get you an interview. And having someone vouch for you, that's even more effective because you're showing the hiring manager that that person's so good you're willing to reach out on their behalf. As a person that's applying for the role and asking for the referral, I might ask a friend, if you think I'm a really good fit for the role, would you mind pinging the hiring manager directly and forwarding my resume? I think it'll really increase the chances that they'll actually take a look at it. And here's a small blurb that you can copy and paste. Why does this work? Referrals are much more effective in getting your resume viewed in the first place. It's sad, but nowadays some companies don't even look at resumes that haven't come through someone in the company. So for example, my brother works at Google now, and he was saying in his first interview, the person was so surprised that he came through an organic channel of directly applying on the site rather than a referral. Hack number 5 is to publish posts on LinkedIn. So how does this work? if there's a space that you're really passionate about, let's say self-driving cars or the metaverse, start posting commentary to maybe content that you've seen, or share a thought about the space, or maybe share some best practices that you've learned on your job today. Then you want to tag friends that could be interested in this content. What this helps with is to establish authority and a personal brand around you. So when you do reach out to friends, they'll get a sense that you're really serious about a specific space if you're publishing content about it. At the same time, posting this content will increase your visibility amongst recruiters as well. And also posting this content and having friends and tagging friends or people you know that are in roles that you're interested in applying for. And if they actually read it, that content, and because of the level of the algorithm, will be shown to other people that are similar to them. So a real example of this, I actually applied for a company that was working with startups. And I wasn't the candidate that had the most experience, but the hiring manager landed on the content that I produced talking about startups in emerging markets. And you could tell I was really passionate about this space. And again, although I wasn't the one candidate that had the most number of years of experiences, I ultimately got hired because I showed passion for a domain and I showed proactiveness in working on the side on producing this content for the community. And at the same time, it showed that I had connections to the community so that if I was brought in on the job, I'd be able to move much faster and create the right connections to facilitate the business. Another real example of this, I got one of my clients to start posting about cryptocurrency because she was really passionate about that space. And lo and behold, the article she published on crypto in, I think, Lebanon got interest from founders at these crypto startups that reached out to her and pinged her about role openings. But realize these web hacks will fail you if you don't have a good resume or LinkedIn profile. So make sure to check out this video where I go through the resume mistakes that you need to fix to make sure that any of these people you reach out to will even respond to you. And I will see you guys in the next video.